Welcome back to the last episode of Al Hawa. This is the last episode of season 1. Hopefully, we will be back for season 2. This is a special one. With us in the studio, we have Rami Hassan and Inji Ali. Inji is a multimedia journalism student. Rami is also a multimedia journalism student. Today, we will be discussing social media. So Rami, what is social media to you?
I think social media is the platform where people communicate together, and it's not supervised by the government. I think that's the main thing that makes people use it more, and it's a way to interact between people more.
And Inji, what do you think social media is?
I think it's exactly what Romy said, and it connects people from different backgrounds and different cultures together.
All right, so when did you start using social media?
I started using social media when I was very young with MSN.
Hotmail Messenger or MSN?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and Yahoo Messenger, and after that I used it for a while, and then came Facebook. That was very popular, and I had to create an account for it. But the thing is, I started later than people with Facebook and Instagram and all of these social media applications that came to later. Yeah.
Why did you start later?
Because I'm not interested in social media very much. Like I'm not the type who's would sit between people and hold my phone just to interact with people that I'm not with. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like social media, it disconnects you from around you. Like you feel disconnected completely from people around you.
All right, so Inji, let's ask you the same question. When did you start using social media?
I also started by MSN Messenger. I think I was in grade 4. I used to go home every day when I come back from school. I used to go on MSN to chat with my friends. We had group chats, and it was very interesting because it was the first social media I ever used.
All right, so what types of social media do you guys use today? Because like you said that you started using MSN Messenger and Hotmail and Facebook, but now there's so many different types of social media. So like what type of social media do you use today?
Obviously MSN, it's over. Like the time for it is not. No one is using it anymore. We have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat,
Twitter.
I don't use Twitter very much.
So
I don't like.
We already established that you're against social media. Okay, but are you against social media as well?
No, I'm actually for social media. I also use the same things he uses, but I don't use Twitter that much. I only use it for university purposes. I use Instagram, I use Facebook, I use Snapchat. So I'm pro social media.
Okay, so you're pro and you're against, but I'm gonna ask you guys both collectively, how many hours does like social media take from your day? We'll go with Inji first.
I can't tell you how many hours, but like around 4 hours. It depends on what social media you mean. Like WhatsApp, for example, it's all day.
I don't really consider WhatsApp as social media because you're just like messaging someone. It's like a free form of iMessage, basically.
No, you're
something.
iMessage is a form of social media. You are connecting with someone.
Okay, I see what you mean there.
Yeah.
So we'll consider WhatsApp social media then, just for the sake of the discussion. So how many hours then do you use? 4 hours?
About 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, and Rami, what about you?
Not more than an hour.
So like if someone sends you a WhatsApp throughout the day, you're not gonna answer them?
Usually when people send me WhatsApps, I call them.
You don't answer them back, you just call them?
Usually I call them. If I feel I'm gonna need to write for a while, no, I just call them.
Is that because you just like don't want to write, or because you just hate the fact that you're staring at your screen, or what?
Yes, I don't. I feel like it's easier to communicate vocally than writing, also, like in the first place, you know what I mean. And then, when you think about it, like typing and holding your phone, I don't like to hold my phone a lot, so I prefer to call. I will finish the call in 1 minute or 2 minutes instead of saying the same thing, and it's gonna take me 10 to 15 minutes. You know?
All right, so let's start discussing the pros and cons of social media. Let's start with the pros from both sides, because like even though you don't like social media, there's obviously some pros to it. So Angie, what are some pros that you see to social media?
You connect with many people. You connect with people from different cultures as well, like Facebook or Instagram. You can see what other people in other countries are doing, so it makes you more familiar to these countries, making you more intellectual. And I think this is the best thing about social media, but there are many other pros.
Like what?
Connectivity. Connectivity is the most important thing.
Okay.
Without social media nowadays, you can't connect. For example, the Egyptian revolution, it started through Facebook. It started through social media.
I like the fact that you brought that up, but we'll reach that in a second. Let's go first to Romy. So what do you see some pros are to social media?
I think it's obviously for connectivity, and at the same time you can get the news from it. You get trends. You can know about trends happening around you through Facebook, for example, like fashion, for example. You get it through Facebook, like everything. You find everything social media. I don't know if that's good.
All right, so let's start discussing the cons, and then we'll discuss the types of like things that social media led to like develop in our lives. So what do you think are some cons of social
The only
media?
con I can think of right now is what Romy mentioned earlier, which is being like when you're surrounded with your friends, you're actually on the phone all the time, which is wrong because you're supposed to connect with your friends in real life as well, not only when you're looking at a screen.
And what do you feel are some cons?
I feel you don't, like, usually if you want to be in contact with someone, you will try to call them, see them, to keep in touch, you know what I mean? But with social media now, you can just
Send them a WhatsApp,
Facebook,
for instance.
WhatsApp, which is
Yeah.
not the same, and the friendship gets weaker, obviously.
Yeah, but can I
Mhm.
say something
Yeah,
here?
go ahead.
For example, if you have a friend that lives abroad, how
I
are you
agree.
gonna connect with him or her with no social media? Like, for example,
Calling card.
Yeah, but that's very old-fashioned. You
Phone,
can't say
you can
that.
call from the phone.
Yeah, but
You'll get a bill, I agree.
Yeah, why don't you? You can Skype, you can WhatsApp, you can Viber.
I agree, but let's put it this way. Do you think that most of people, they connect through Facebook because their friends, they live abroad? No, it's because they live here and they just want to talk with someone who can live in the next room, literally.
Some people say that like social media is a form of like escaping reality. That like instead of like actually talking to someone, I feel it less awkward to just sit down on my phone and discuss it with them.
I agree.
Do you also agree with that?
Yeah, I
point,
do
or what?
agree with that. But that can be a pro as well, because if you're, for example, if you're talking to a friend and there's something embarrassing that you want to tell him or her, and you can't do that in real life, you can't do that in
Face-to-face, yeah.
person, then you're gonna have to go to social media and connect with them through social media.
Okay, so you brought up the revolution. So I want to just now discuss the things that social media like led to or it allowed to develop. So regarding the revolution, like how do you think social media played a key role in that? We're talking about the January 5th, 2011?
25th, yeah.
25th, yeah. Revolution. So how do you think social media led to that?
When people, for example, when people wanted the meeting point to be Tahrir Square, they would connect, they would
No, go ahead.
they would connect through social media to say the meeting point today is going to be Tahrir Square, kaza kaza.
Okay.
So therefore there wouldn't be any million protests or anything in the revolution if it wasn't for social media.
No, and especially I think the government, from what I remember, they cut off like all cellular networks except like the internet.
So this
people-
shows how powerful the social media is, because the government that feared the social media because the government knew that it actually could connect all these people. All these people were connected through social media to go to protest in Tahrir Square. Therefore, I think it was the second day of the revolution, they cut off the internet, all Egypt, because they knew how powerful social media is.
Do you have anything to add on that?
I agree that social media is very powerful, and it's sometimes it's used in the right way, which is like the revolution, for example. But my issue with it's the personal use of the usage of social media. You know what I mean? Like when I'm sitting at home, if I want to follow up, know that there is a revolution happening in Jan, okay, yes, I might use social media to get to that. But I'm talking about sitting between friends and taking your phone out just to.
So like on a day-to-day
Right.
basis, you don't like social media, basically.
Exactly.
But like for special occasions, when there's something that you want to follow up on, then you can resort to it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, you started actually talking about businesses, or you talked about like fashion.
Yeah.
Well, something that social media actually allowed us to like see is a lot of businesses and startup companies.
Exactly.
So without social media, that they wouldn't really exist. So, and especially that it's like a very cheap way of starting a business. Like you don't actually have to like rent a apartment, go right down in the in the district or whatever that you have a company. You can just go on Facebook, create a page, and then you have your own company.
But you have a problem with that too, because I used Instagram, for example, to buy something.
Okay.
Okay. The thing is, with the photo, it's always not very realistic. Like you can take a nice photo that makes something looks nice, and when you take it in real life, it's ugly.
No, can I say something?
I think that depends on the store, but
Yeah, I'm not talking about what you're saying, not like selling products on Instagram or whatever. I'm talking about, for example, many fashionistas nowadays, they do, like, people pay them to post about their product on their Instagram page or their Facebook page or Twitter page or whatever, and they pay them up to 10,000 per picture. So it is a big business, which that's not hard at all. That's why I think social media is powerful.
So like what type of businesses did you guys buy from on social media?
I'm not talking about buying, I'm talking about people promoting products on social media.
Okay.
Like, for example, Hadia Ghalib, if you know her, she did a production house all based on social media. So that's why, because she has many followers on Instagram, people pay her in order to promote a certain product.
So it's also become a job, I guess, for some people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a lot of people who now have YouTube channels and that's their main job.
Yeah.
They just like, they vlog and they take videos of their daily lives or they do YouTube like pranks and stuff and they get paid like thousands and thousands of dollars.
And it's a way to start a career. Like YouTube, if you think about it, with the best in music, for example, he started with YouTube. Eventually he got famous. He got produced by NBC or wherever. So it's a nice way to start something because it's not expensive, and at the same time you can move from it or start with it and then move somewhere else that is bigger. You know what I mean? That's the use of social media. I think it's very powerful when it comes to this. About Hadia Ghalib, yes, obviously she has a lot of photos promoting products because she has so many followers. But the products itself, when you look at them, you know, you can find them extremely nice, but in real life they're not as they look.
So like, where did you order from, for instance?
Bracelets. I do that. Like
you order bracelets or you sell bracelets?
I order bracelets.
You order bracelets?
Yes, and they have. There's a trend now. Like in the last 6 months, you have a lot of bracelets for groups for bracelets.
Yeah.
People selling bracelets.
The ones with the lions and the elephants and the weird stuff like that.
Exactly.
So you bought them and they didn't?
I spent around 500 pounds on them. And I was like, okay, I like this and that and all of this.
Okay.
And then when I got them, I looked at them. I was like,
they weren't nice. Was it the quality or was it they're not the same thing that the image?
It's not like you saw them. Like when you hold them, they're different. You just feel like, okay.
So basically it's a way for like cheap businesses to like kind of fool you, are you saying?
Not always. They don't always do that, but
I honestly haven't encountered this problem at all.
No,
So like where did you order from, for instance?
Nastigal, they're certain, they're like website, but they also have Instagram accounts, so you can order through Instagram. And I haven't encountered this problem at all.
The products were fine, everything was fine. Actually, a lot of businesses like now they just have Facebook pages and they have like Instagram pages, and that's how they actually reach more people. And plus, a lot of people find it much more. It's much easier to just stay at home, open your phone, order something instead of getting in your car, going to the mall, standing in line, and then you get into a fight with someone or whatever. And it's like a less hassle. It's much less of a hassle. So I think social media from that point.
Yeah, I have my own business, and I promote on Facebook through this business.
And how are you against social media?
Because
you have a business built on social media.
No, it's not built on it. I had to do it because everyone does it, so I have to do it. And even I did not do it. I got someone to do it. You know what I mean? Like I was not even interested to create the page and try to lay out everything the way I want it. No, it's just okay. People need Facebook. Can you do Facebook? Yes, thank you.
But you as a business...
you said that people need Facebook.
Yeah, people need it, but and I need it. I'm not saying that, but it's different when you need it sometimes, or you use it just the entire day. You know what I mean? Like I need it to make my business work, which is fine. You know, it has a purpose. But if we're talking about, I'm just gonna take it, I'm just gonna go on Facebook just to stalk someone. Like I sat with people.
You don't do that?
No, I don't.
So what's your favorite type of social media? Like there's so many different mediums out there. Is it Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or WhatsApp, which you obviously don't like? So like
no, I like it now because now no one can see when I'm online or not. So you know what I mean?
But like what's your favorite type of social media? We'll go with Angie first.
Mine is Instagram actually.
Yeah. Okay, why is that?
I don't know. When you're bored, you can look at many pictures. You can look at pictures of products. You can look at pictures of friends. You can stalk people.
hours.
So like our visuals
And you can
nicer than
see,
words,
yeah,
though?
you can see like you have travel bloggers, you have fashion bloggers, which is actually very nice to look at. That's why I like
And what about you? What's your
I
favorite?
think it's Instagram.
Instagram?
Too, yeah.
So you're cool with Instagram?
Put in
We're
mind
going-
that
going
I
fine.
just see sometimes what's happening in the world, but it's not something that I follow it every day. I have to open Instagram, you know what I mean?
Well, Hassan and Inji, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on our last
Thank you.
episode of Season 1 in Al Hawa. And this is Tamer Hagab. Thank you.